Hey everybody, welcome in. For this video, what I want to do is go through the steps to create the Quick Start small office project in Revit. So what I want to do first is I'm going to go to where you see new. I'm going to click on Browse. We're going to use the commercial default template. And I'm using the Imperial, so I'm going to click on Open. We're going to click on OK. And usually I start off by setting my levels, but we're just going to kind of sort of follow what the book does. So the first thing that it wants you to do, it wants you to click on the architecture wall, and we're going to change our basic wall from generic 8 to generic 12. And let's see, then we're going to change some settings. So up here in the ribbon area, we're going to change it from not 14 feet, but we want this to be 9 feet. So I'm just going to type in 9, press enter, and then for the location line, that wants to be finished face exterior. I'm going to click chain, and then it wants us to, we're going to go into the draw panel here. I'm going to click on the rectangle. So I'm just going to kind of draw a rectangle from one corner, from the top left corner to the bottom right corner. And normally I don't kind of drag it to where it's the exact dimension. So for this, I'm just going to get it in the ballpark, and then left click to finish that. Not going to worry. That's the good thing about Revit is you don't have to worry about if you're getting your dimensions properly created the first time. It's easy to change later. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hit the modify. Using the modify is kind of like hitting the escape key in AutoCAD a couple of times, but I'm just going to hit modify. That cancels me out of any command that I'm currently in. So now I'm going to go to the architecture. I'm going to create some grid lines here. So architecture, grid. I'm going to kind of start this off the walls here, this bottom left, kind of drag it up. Make sure that you want to drag it up straight. So straight vertical. And then I'm going to kind of guesstimate where the center of this building is. It doesn't have to be exactly, but just kind of make sure that you want to start your other grid line in line with the bottom of the first one you created. Drag it straight up until you hit that dashed line that goes across. So now you know you're in line at the top of the first grid line that you created. So there's that one. I'm going to make a third one. We're going to go straight up. And now to make our horizontal, so I'm going to start over on the right. I think I want this to be up here. It doesn't really matter. We can move these later, but I'm going to go straight across. That's number 4. Over here, again, make sure you kind of line it up with this end of this one here. So you see that dash line, you know you're kind of lined up. And if you don't line it up, that's okay. You can come back and do it later, but it kind of helps to get it right at the beginning. So I'm gonna drag it over. And then what I want to do is, so my vertical grids, those are numbers, right? 1, 2, 3. I want my horizontal here to be letters. So I'm going to hit the modify to get out of that. So I'm going to double left click real slow on the number 4. So 1, 2, and now I can change this to a capital A. And then I want to double left click slow on number 5. 1, 2. I'm going to change that to the letter B. Press enter. So now we got those. Let's see, what does it want us to do next? Okay, so what we want to do here, we want to use the align tool to align our grid lines to the outside face of our walls. So to do that, you would go to the modify tab here and go to the align. So you got to go to modify, the modify panel, the align tool here. I'm going to click that. Make sure it says prefer. You want to select wall faces, even though it's not going to select my face when I when I try to zoom in, it's not gonna select my face. It's gonna select my ear. No, I'm kidding. So what I wanna do, the first part that I want to select is where I want something to be aligned to. So I want to align to the outside face, the exterior face of this wall. So notice it's giving me the center of that wall. So if I hit the tab key, now I can click that outside line. I'm gonna click my grid line. It's gonna move it over. Make sure you checked. You wanna select the lock button to lock it. And then just kind of do the same thing for each of these other grid lines, just not the middle one. So I'm gonna hit the tab key because I want to select the outside face. Select this grid line, lock it. I want to hit the tab key, select that outside face, this grid line, lock it. Pan down a little bit. Hit the tab key and select this bottom face. Select that grid line, lock it. So we're not going to worry about the center one right now because we're going to fix that, I believe, in the next step. So let me hit the modify to cancel out of any commands that I'm in right now. Okay, so to get our middle kind of vertical grid line in place where we want it, so I'm going to go up to where you see annotate, and I'm going to click on the aligned. I'm going to select this first grid line, left click it, left click the second grid line, left click the third grid line, and just we're getting the next click is going to be where do you want this grid line to be. So I mean, you could put it anywhere you want, but try to get it in between the building and your grid numbers, somewhere around here. So now before you do anything else, I want to make this grid line centered in between our dimensions here. So the way to do that, you'll see it where it says EQ here, and there's a red slash across it. That means that this grid is not equal on both sides, or those dimensions are not equal. If I left click the EQ sign, now that moves my grid right in the center. So I'm just gonna hit the modify button in the top left corner. All right, so the next step is to fix whenever I created our exterior walls, I didn't really go by the dimensions that they wanted us to. I just got kind of close. So here's where we kind of get that to be where they want it. So I'm gonna go up to annotate, aligned. I'm gonna left click on my grid line 1, left click on my grid line 3. I'm gonna drag this up. Let me zoom in a little bit. I want to get it above where the EQ, the equal dimensions are. So my overall is going to be right above that here. And then I'm going to right click, hit cancel. Let me hit modify here. So if you notice that our dimension is running into our grid bubble, so what I can do is just kind of click on the grid bubble here, left click it. And then where you see this little circle at the top, just kind of click it and drag it up. So now we can drag these down, our dimensions. It kind of gives us more room here. All right, so to change the overall dimension, because I don't want it to be 114. So what you want to do is you want to select what you want. Whenever you edit a dimension, you want to select what you want to move. So I want this side of the wall to move. So I'm going to click the grid line number 3 because I want that to move. And then for my dimension here where it says 114, I'm just going to click this dimension. I want this to be 101. Press enter, and notice it kind of moved the outside width of my building to be 101 feet, and also it kind of moved the center line as well. So it kind of took all that into consideration for us. We didn't have to go back and redo that again. So, and now I want to do the same thing for the kind of the short side of the walls, left and right. So I'm going to use my aligned dimension. I'm going to select my grid line A, select grid line B, where I want to place it, somewhere here. I'm going to hit the modify tool to get out of that command. So now what I want to do to move this grid line, I'm going to left click on the grid line. I'm going to change the width. What is that going to be? That's going to be 68. And so there we go. Now we can hit the modify to cancel out of that. So now we have our outside dimensions set up the way the book wants us to, 101 feet by 68 feet. All right, so the next step we want to do is we want to change the wall type of our exterior walls because we don't want to use the generic 12-inch. So what we could do is to select all the exterior walls at the same time instead of having to pick them each one individually. If you kind of hover your mouse over one of your exterior walls, don't click anything, hover your mouse over it, hit the tab key, and now it kind of highlights all the exterior walls. So now left click, wait, I move my mouse off of it trying to explain it. So move it over, it highlights, hit the tab key, now left click to select all those walls. And now up here where it says basic wall generic, we're gonna change this to, let me zoom up to the top. We wanna change it to exterior brick on CMU. And then also, if you go down to the bottom, you'll see where it says detail level coarse. Select that icon, we're gonna change this to fine. So now you kind of see all the kind of layers that our exterior wall has. And also just to check, let me hit the modify tool here. Left click on your walls, make sure that these double arrows are all on the outside of your wall. They should be. If not, then you just kind of click it and flip it over. Now I don't want to do that because I have all these things constrained, but let me cancel out of that. Just make sure that those double arrows are all on the outside of your wall. And we're good to go there. And then what's the next step? Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to create the interior walls. So to do that, I'm going to go up to architecture, select the wall icon, and I don't want it to be generic 12-inch, so we're going to change the wall type here to interior 4 7/8 partition 1 hour. Click that one. And then I'm going to change the height. So the height right now is unconnected at 8 feet. I want to change where it says unconnected to make that roof. So our walls are automatically going to go up to our roof line. And then where you see location line, we want that to be a wall center line, which it already is. If not, just select this little down arrow and just change it in the options here. So wall center line is what we want. I'm going to turn off the chain because we want to just, in this case, just kind of draw one line at one wall at a time. They're not going to be connected to each other like the exterior walls were. So I'll turn that off. And now we can start. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a wall from this left side over to the right. It doesn't really matter where I place it just now. Just make sure that it's a straight line over. And that's good there. Now, if you accidentally, like I did, clicked off the wall before we place where we want that to go, it's okay. You can just, I'm gonna left click on this wall that we just drew, left click it, and now you'll get these temporary dimensions. So I'm gonna zoom in here. So these little grips here, I'm gonna click on them because I want this temporary dimension to be on the inside face of these two walls. So I'm just gonna left click on this little dot. So that's where I want it. This one, I want to move it up to this face, and that moved it down. So click it again. You just kind of keep clicking it until it moves to the side that you want. So now we have it, that's where I want it, from inside face to inside face. And then to change this dimension here, I'm going to select the dimension. And what do I want that to be? I want that to be, what was that, 18? No, 22. 22. Not 22. 22. Okay, so whenever you're moving this, make sure that you want to select this wall because that wall is going to be the one that moves when you change the dimension. You don't want to try to move your exterior walls because we have them kind of where we want them. So make sure that you want to select the wall that you want to move. And then we're good there. Okay, next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna add some walls inside here. So let me zoom out a little bit. I'm gonna go to my wall tool. We're gonna use the same walls that we just did. same settings. I'm just gonna kind of draw 5 random walls in this space. So they're gonna be vertically go down. See here, there's 1, 2. Again, right now it doesn't matter where you place them as long as they're inside these walls. So that's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. I feel like they count on Sesame Street. 4, 5. Might be before y'all's time. We're gonna right click, hit cancel. So now I want to add some dimensions to these to where we can get these walls all centered. So just to make sure I'm out of any commands, I'm gonna hit the modify tool. So all I want to do is go to annotate. I'm gonna go to align. I want to make sure that I start off with my wall, not the wall center line, but wall faces, just for the first one. So I'm gonna pick wall face. I'm gonna left click on this wall here. Now I want to change it from wall faces to wall center lines for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for the last one, I'm gonna change it back to wall faces. Hit that last wall there. We're gonna place it so we're gonna move them up here. And again, I'm gonna hit this EQ symbol to make sure that those are all evenly spaced. And we're good there. So hit modify to get out of that. All right, and then I want to add a vertical dimension here. So I'm gonna go to annotate, aligned. I want this to be wall faces, my selection. So I'm gonna just kind of click this wall down to this wall. That should be 22. So I'm just gonna left click to place it. I wanna slap the padlock to lock that bad boy. We're gonna lock it right there. And then hit the modify to cancel out of that. Now in the next steps, I'm gonna do some things to kind of change these dimensions, just to show you that when you change the dimensions, the end of the walls kind of move with it. But I'm gonna skip that part. The last part is I want the overall dimensions of this to be 110 by, what do they want that to be? 110 by 68. Yeah, 110 by 68. So we're good at the 68, but this should be 110 instead of 101. So I'm gonna just left click my grid line number 3, where it says 101 here. I'm gonna change this to 110. Press enter. Hit the modify arrow thingy to get out of that. And then that should be a good stopping point right there before we start placing the doors in there. So what you want to do is go up to file. We're going to save this. I already have one of these select or saved, so it might ask me if I want to save over it, but I'm going to save it as small office. I like to use capital letters. Small office. I don't need to put the .rbt because it already has that. It's already gonna do that for me, so I'm gonna delete that part. Yeah, wait, no. It changed it automatically when I clicked off of it. Let's do it again. It's always good practice. Anyway, let's do that. I'll leave. No, I'm gonna take that out because I already. Now, yeah, when you click off of it, click down below it, not back in your list again, or you're gonna change it to one of these. Anyway, hit save. It says it already exists. You want to replace it? Yes. And all right, so that's kind of how you get to the exterior walls, put the interior walls, add little dimensions on there, how to kind of make them equal and stuff like that. So in the next video, we'll kind of add some doors and windows and whatever else is going to have us do. So hope to see you back, and peace out.